What's going on, everyone? I am Show Me a Noob, aka Nick. If that's what you want to call me. We're all friends here. It doesn't matter what you call me. Welcome to a new series I'm calling History Facts with Noob. Now, today's fact is going to focus on the first 5 presidents of the United States. Did you know that out of the first 5 presidents of the United States, 3 died on July 4th and 1 almost did? So the first president to die on July 4th was Thomas Jefferson, the 3rd president of the United States. He passed away on July 4th, 1826. And crazy enough, the 2nd president of the United States, John Adams, also died on July 4th, 1826. He had no idea Thomas Jefferson had passed away, though, because John Adams' last words were, "Thomas Jefferson still survives." Of course, he didn't survive. He had passed a few hours earlier. The 3rd president to die on July 4th was James Monroe, the 5th president of the United States, who died on July 4th, 1831. And finally, we get to the almost died on July 4th. Now, it's not George Washington. George Washington passed away on December 14th, 1799. James Madison, the 4th president of the United States, died on June 28th, 1836. Now, you may be thinking, that's so weak from July 4th. How would that even be possible? Well, it turns out that James Madison's doctors wanted to give him an adrenaline boost of some sort and keep him alive until the 4th of July, which would have made him the 4th president to die on the 4th of July. Stay tuned for more history facts. I'm going to try to do at least one of these a week. And follow my Twitch, twitch.com/showmeanoob. And I will catch you guys on the flip side, my friends. Catch you later. Hello, everyone. It is Friday, and you know what that means. It's time for another History Facts with Noob, my new series where I let you know about a history fact that you may or may not know. Quick little disclaimer, a lot of these facts during this series are going to be either presidential or war related, as those are the 2 subjects that I would say I am more well versed in than others. That being said, a lot of them are also a little morbid, and that includes today's. So a lot of people know 2 of the 4 presidents that have been assassinated in American history. Of course, you have Abraham Lincoln, who was shot by John Wilkes Booth on April 14th, 1865, and then passed away April 15th, 1865. And you also have President John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated on November 22nd, 1963 in Dallas, Texas. And hell, some of you on this app may see this. You might have been alive when JFK was assassinated. But a lot of people don't know the other 2 presidents that were assassinated. The first one that people don't talk about is the 20th president and 2nd president to be assassinated, James A. Garfield, who was shot by Charles Guiteau on July 2nd, 1881. And what's even crazier, Garfield didn't pass immediately. It took 11 weeks. 11 weeks for him to pass. He passed on September, I believe it was 19th, 1881. And the second one that people don't talk about is the 25th president, William McKinley. McKinley was shot on September 6th, 1901 at the Temple of Music in Buffalo, New York. He ended up passing away 8 days later because his wounds had become gangrenous, so he ended up passing on September 14th, 1901. So that's today's history fact. Did you know about the other 2 presidents that were assassinated? If so, let me know in the comments. And of course, follow my Twitch, twitch.tv/showmeanoob, where I do have a history fact channel point redemption. And as always, I will catch you on the flip side. See you later. Hello, everyone. It is time for another History Facts with Noob. This is the third installment. I have a background crowd with me today.
Yeah. So.
Today's fact is actually going to extend on last week's fact, if that makes sense. You'll see what I mean here in a second. So, last week we talked about the 4 presidents that had been assassinated. One of those was William McKinley. However, I cannot move on from that without talking about the president that became president after McKinley was assassinated. Because Teddy Roosevelt, it's actually kind of funny that I found my glasses because we're talking about Teddy Roosevelt, but Teddy Roosevelt also had an assassination attempt. So this was actually after Roosevelt had already served his 2 terms in office. He became president because he was McKinley's vice president, and then he served his 2 terms. He was running for a third independently as the Bull Moose Party. On October 14th, 1912, John Fleming Schrank shot Roosevelt while he was getting ready to do a speech in his campaign to get reelected. And we talked about why some assassins do what they do. Schrank said that he saw the dead body or ghost of William McKinley rise out of its coffin and tell him that Roosevelt killed him. So he ended up shooting Roosevelt. He ended up spending the rest of his life in a mental institution. Roosevelt, luckily, had his steel glasses case and his 50-page speech that was folded over. I'll actually throw those pictures up now. And the bullet didn't go that deep into him. There's an x-ray of it that I'll also throw up. And he knew that because he wasn't coughing out blood, that it didn't hit a lung. So he did his speech and then went to the hospital afterwards. I should also throw in a little bit of an extra. When Roosevelt ended up passing away in 1919, sitting Vice President Thomas Marshall said, "Death had to take Roosevelt sleeping, for if he was awake, there would have been a fight." Stay tuned for more history facts and twitch.tv/showmeanoob. I appreciate it. Hello, everyone. Yes, it is time for another history facts with Noob. This is the 4th installment. I am so sorry I missed last week, but a lot of stuff came up. But we're back. So let's get into today's fact. So we are bypassing the presidential fact today. We do have a war fact, but it is still a little on the morbid side, so I do apologize for that. Do you know the war that has the most American casualties in U.S. history? Now, you immediately hear this question, you might think World War I, World War II, but it's neither of those, and it's crazy that the death toll of those 2 wars combined doesn't even come close to the actual answer. So, the American Revolution had 31,000 American casualties. The War of 1812 had roughly 15,000 U.S. casualties. World War I had 116,516 U.S. casualties. On the other side, World War II had 405,399 U.S. casualties. The Korean War had 36,516, and the Vietnam War had 58,220 U.S. casualties. Now, if you add up the American Revolution, the War of 1812, World War I, World War II, and the Korean War, you do not reach the death toll of the American Civil War. Hey y'all, Nick from the future here, inserting myself into my own TikTok. For some reason, it deleted a part of my video. So, let me just say that the American Civil War's death toll is 655,000 plus, and it was 2.1% of the total U.S. population at the time. Now, this goes for total U.S. casualties. If you go by combat specifically, I believe World War I still has that distinction. It might be World War II. I think it's World War II, actually. And if we split the Civil War up by side, the Union Army lost 364,000 people roughly, and the Confederate Army lost 290,000. Stay tuned for more history facts and follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/showmeanoob. Catch you later. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another History Facts with Noob. Now, before I get into anything, I want to say that 1, sorry for missing last week again, and 2, over the next few weeks, I will not tolerate any hate comments or anything like that. Because History Facts with Noob for Pride Month is going to be doing some LGBTQIA plus facts. So happy Pride Month to everyone in said community, and let's get into today's fact. So in 1966, the Stonewall Inn was purchased by the, pardon me, I'm going to try and say this right, the Genovese crime family. It was a straight bar that they then turned into a gay bar. Just after midnight on June 28th, 1969, police raided the Stonewall Inn. Now, they stormed the bar, arrested multiple people, patrons resisted, and 2 of the people that resisted were Marsha Johnson, and Sylvia Rivera. Now, Johnson and Rivera weren't at Stonewall Inn when it was initially raided. They got there about 2 a.m. And there are conflicting stories on what they did, but the most common one seems to be that Johnson and Rivera threw the first object at the cops, and they were on the front lines of said riots. Now, while the Stonewall riots did not start the gay rights movement, it did galvanize it. The first gay rights parade was in 1970, and many gay rights organizations were able to bloom out of what happened with the Stonewall riots. And what's even cooler, Johnson and Rivera were the first 2 transgender women to head one of these organizations. The organization they started was the Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries, or STAR for short, which was an organization used to shelter transgender youth from when they were rejected by their families. I appreciate you. Stay tuned for more LGBTQIA plus facts. Happy Pride Month, and I'll catch you later.